I would love to box Ricegum. I think that would be the fight of a century because low-key, I'm jacked.
I totally forgot I was supposed to ask about that.
Oh, I was actually wondering if you would. But like low-key, I'm like pretty strong.
And he's probably really not. Like, I feel like that if there ever was a case where like a woman might have a good like two non-competitors would like be able to sort of face off. I don't think that would be a good look for him. I'm gonna be honest.
Because I would win.
Regardless, if he beats up a girl, that's a weird look too.
That's 100% true.
So is the hate still strong for him?
I've never hated him.
Okay.
I don't know what I would describe my feelings for him was. It was never hate.
Right.
But it was just, it was such a weird situation. And I think what was weirder for me about that situation was it was so obvious online that he was lying just because if you watch literally interview to interview, he has 20 different stories.
Really?
And like he starts off his story with, I didn't touch her. And then the story moves to, I just snatched her phone out of her hand really quick.
Right.
And then it turned to, I had to fight her and use both. He literally says I had to use both hands. I mean, she's holding onto her phone. Obviously, she's not just going to let it go. So then like, as you like listen to his story change, it's just like, he gets closer and closer to the fact that, yeah, you assaulted me and you took my phone. And then the thing that did bother me a lot though, was I was so specific to say that he did not punch me, that it was nothing like that. And I said that night on the Snapchat right away because I said Ricegum just like hit me and broke my phone, and then I went back right away. I said, I just want you guys to know, like, he didn't like punch me, he didn't slap me, like he wrestled me for my phone, he twisted my arms, he pushed me down.
Okay, so that kind of like assault, yeah.
And I cleared that up immediately, and then Phil DeFranco covered it the next day, and I wasn't even going to answer him, but I thought it was important to because I said, the one thing I want people to know is I am not accusing Ricegum of hitting me. Right. I am not saying that he did. I'm saying that he pushed me down, he wrestled me, which he admitted to. Right. He said I had to use both hands because she was holding onto her phone. I had some marks on my body from him, and then he broke my phone. So that's what I want people to know. And then he's going on podcast saying, this girl's trying to make it sound like I punched her in the face. And I literally said the words, I don't want anyone to think I'm saying he punched me in the face.
Right.
So to me, as a viewer, watching him say those things and people still side with him when you can literally put the two side by side and be like, I kept the same story beginning to end and he's changing it. That was just confusing and like frustrating. And then like when he scratched himself, when he was just like, I couldn't even leave scratch marks on her because I don't even have nails, like she's a liar. And then he posts a video scratching himself and leaving marks on himself, being like, this is what she did to herself. And it's like, wait, I thought you couldn't leave marks on somebody, but you literally just scratched the shit out of your chest. So like shit like that, where it's like, how do people believe this?
Right.
So that was frustrating. It was a very difficult time because I'm never somebody who likes to get attention from drama, but really I never got a lot of hate from that. I got a lot of support from the community. Anybody that wasn't like an 8-year-old Ricegum fan was on my side and could see the truth. But then there were some things that really hurt too. Like I loved this one podcaster and I was a big fan of his, and I saw that he was talking about it and I really thought like, oh, this guy's smart. Like there's no way he like won't side with me.
Right.
And then he was saying that I like deserved it, and if anybody ever tried to like film him, he would have broken my phone too.
Really?
So like shit like that like hurt because like I was a big fan of that guy and now I'm not.
See, I don't think there's any doubt that like from the multiple different sides I've heard of it and from your version of it that like he definitely was overly aggressive for sure. Like that just sounds like completely unnecessary. Do you think that when you filmed him, that when you did whatever you did that prompted his action there, in retrospect, do you think that you were being over the top or anything there?
I wouldn't say over the top. I would say
sort of invasive to his privacy, perhaps.
Yeah.
Not that would justify what he did,
I
but
could see that. The funny thing about it too was he was saying like, yo, we're at a YouTuber party, no phones, no one's filming, blah, blah, blah. And like in the footage that I have from that night, he literally has a camera vlogging. And
really?
I'm like, question mark? Like what?
Was he right that there was like a lot of people drinking that wouldn't want to be documented drinking?
No, it was a birthday party for a friend. Everybody was like Snapchatting the whole night, like happy birthday, like
right.
No, like, and also I wasn't like filming people like shot. It wasn't like that. It was it's like a 28-year-old kid's birthday.
When you were filming Ricegum, was it just like, oh, haha, Ricegum is here? It was like just sort of.
Yeah, and I would have battled him on the spot.
Oh.
And that's what the Snapchat was he made a video about me. I think it was probably a
Oh,
year
so
before
okay,
that.
that's where all this started from. I didn't realize that he had dissed you.
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
okay.
So he made a diss track about me because I tweeted that was literally nothing about him. I said something about, if you build your channel off of the faces and names of other people, like, what are you doing? And I was talking about reaction channels who at the time, it was literally just kids posting videos going like this, like watching the video. So that's what I was referring to. He decided it was about him because he made his name off of making fun of children. So like
Right.
the thumbnails and the titles were always like Baby Ariel, Jacob Sotoria. So he got butthurt about a tweet that wasn't even about him.
Right.
Then he made a diss track about me where he's making fun of my nose, saying my voice is annoying, and then he tried to like dig up a joke stealing scandal from me, and then I responded by showing all of his stolen jokes side by side. And like honestly, I love my response diss track. You should watch it. It's really funny.
Oh wow, I gotta get more into that. Wait, but so
when I saw him in person, the whole thing was like, oh, you can talk shit behind a camera, I'm gonna battle you to your face.
Right.
So then I walked up to him with my Snapchat, and that's why my Snapchat said, yo, let's battle. Because like, to me, if you can talk shit behind a keyboard, say it to my face.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to say it to your face. I would have battled him on the spot and I would have won.
But do you think that he thought that you were just gonna like freak out on him? He thought that you were you coming
No.
somewhat good naturedly, like
Watch the video. You can see it in the Snapchat.
Okay.
This is exactly what happened. He's sitting on the couch and I come by and I go, yo, Ricegum, let's battle. Let's battle. Like, you can see it in the video. I'm
Right.
being funny. And the first one, he laughs. And he goes, nah. And, like, it's, like, a jokey, funny thing. But then the second one is where he got really upset. You can see him, like, playing along in the first one. The second one that I don't know if it ever got posted, because I can't remember if that was before or after. But I said to him, what? Are you upset because your ghostwriter's not here? Or you can't battle me because your ghostwriter's not here? And then that's when he was like, delete that. And I said, no, because then he got really aggressive. He's like, right away, as soon as he said delete it, and I said no, he got up and like started twisting my arm and got my phone, and he broke my phone because he didn't want me to post the snap.
right.
That's why he broke it.
Jeez.
But then the screen was broken, so I still posted it.
Dude, that is kind of crazy just because it's like you know that moment where you like go to grab something out of somebody's hand and then
I don't do that because I'm a grown
right.
up.
No, you're right. But like I feel like I can kind of understand that no, I really can't understand. I feel like from his perspective, if he made a diss track about you, regardless of how serious he was, that he has to really be willing to like have like a good natured back and forth, even if you say something that he doesn't like. That the thing about the ghostwriter, it's like in the course of a rap diss track thing, that's normal diss. So it's like he has to be able to respond to that in a way that doesn't involve him getting physical. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, like I said, he didn't hit me, but it was aggressive. And like
Yeah.
I had marks on my body. Like
Yeah.
I was sitting on the couch next to him and he was above me, pushing me down and then twisting my arms. Like, that's aggressive.
Yeah.
If I have marks on my body from your nails and my body from pushing me down, that's too aggressive.
Yeah.
Regardless of what it is. Like, putting hands on somebody, damaging property, I don't know. That's why, again, it was like hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that anybody really was siding with him, especially with the lies that went along with it. She's trying to say I punched her in the face. She said I punched her. No, I specifically said you didn't.
Right.
Like that. Saying you snatched my phone out of my hand really quick and then admitting to using both hands because I'm holding on and obviously I'm not just going to let go. That doesn't make sense to me. But again, well, this all started with like, is there hate for him? No. Like, my career's fine. My life's fine. It made me stronger. It was a really difficult time. And now it's not. You know, now I can joke about it and put it in my roast yourself where I like show a scene of that moment. But it did affect me a lot at the time.
That's what got me thinking about it, was when I saw that and you were like, oh, Brian Lee just did to me what you all wanted to do or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck, right. I'd be so ignorant if I didn't know about that and ask her about that. So I had to go catch up on it.
Most people don't because they're like nervous too, but
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no, I would have definitely trotted that out just because I think it's interesting. I mean, yeah. So do you think that you and him could ever be on good terms, or you think you're just like permanently?
I'm always open to be on good terms with anybody. Like, I really am just about positivity, and that's why I approached him at the party in the first place, is because I thought that it would be a funny way to crush that tension.
Yeah.
Because when I saw him at that party, that was the first time I'd ever seen him face to face. Our only communication was ever he made a diss track about me, and then I did like a slam poetry piece back at him, and then he never responded to it, which I also thought was funny because he always responds when people respond, but mine was like pretty damn good and he didn't respond.
We have like actual like degree of musical talent, so that might be a little different to break
it
off.
wasn't musical. It was just it was pretty smart.
Well, slam poetry in general is very intimidating.
Yeah, kind of. It was good. Just watch it. I want to hear your thoughts on it later.
I definitely want to watch that.
But yeah, I think we could be, again, like, if I'm always down to be like cool with people. I don't harbor ill feelings toward him now because it doesn't affect my life now.
Right.
But like, I would also, I mean, no, I would never like expect an apology either.
But
I guess.
him still like, even after that incident occurred, him still criticizing your appearance just seems like, bro, like that is not going to get you your desired outcome on the internet in 2018. Like, I mean, I remember the first time that like I realized like I almost said something like about a girl's appearance, like in the way that I would have in my life as a somewhat known person, and like, you know, being younger and being in high school, all this type of stuff. And then just like almost said something on Twitter, and I just looked at it and I'm like, this is a terrible idea. You absolutely cannot do this.
I haven't seen him criticize my appearance, but because I don't look at his stuff.
But
because I don't
the
care.
nose thing, like I noticed that he was saying shit about that even after the shit played out, and I'm like, oh my god, like, you should be trying.
Even know about it.
I was like, you should be trying to like minimize the fucking impact of what you did, not making it worse here, bro.
But like, think about like from his standpoint, why would he? Because he was getting positive reinforcement for doing those things. So what? In order for somebody to grow and change, there needs to be a catalyst for that. And for him, he's getting rewarded for saying these things.
Right.
And I mean, thank God I'm confident in myself that the nose thing never bothered me. To me, it was more just like, why is this random guy like making fun of the way I look? It was never like,
yeah.
like,
but I just think that's so shitty. That's such like a lame level to take it to.
I'm surprised he didn't call me fat. Like, I was honestly really surprised because like a lot of my hate comments, not now, but at the time were about my weight. So the fact that he didn't call me fat was actually really impressive to me.
No, that would be worse too.
You probably knew better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just I mean, I don't know.
did see though through the when iDubbbz was posting his videos and he was using like clips from Rice, because that's the only clips of Ricegum videos I've seen since that.
Right.
And like he would randomly put my face in his videos when he like if he said the word irrelevant, he'd like use my picture and I'd be like,
still.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about
shit.
still, but like during the iDubbbz time.
I mean, you sort of get into a weird thing in his position where it's like, okay, you have a lot of fans, he has a lot of fans, but there's probably not a lot of overlap. Like,
no.
And he's marketing to his fans, and so if he says you're a liar or he says whatever about you, like they're very inclined to just take his word for it.
And I never lost a subscriber from any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like from your fans' perspective, it's like, oh, their Ricegum's a piece of shit. They probably are kind of buying into what you're saying, but then it doesn't really mess with his thing that much. And it's this sort of weird thing that plays out online where it's like everybody already knows how they're going to feel about something regardless of any sort of proof or fact.
I actually had I don't know. I mean, yeah, he must have been a Ricegum fan. When I was on book tour, this kid came up to me and he was like so adorable. Like he looked like he could have been a Musical.ly star. And this is like my book tour where he like came and like supported me and bought a book to see me. And I don't know if he's a fan of me or not. He's like a literal child. But he came up and his like hand was shaking and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna do something like silly. So he was like, I saw he was recording. Well, he tried to, but he like missed the button. So he said something about, I forget how he asked it, but he asked about Ricegum in some way that like it was clear that he was trying to make fun of me. So I was like, oh, hon, did you mean to press record? And like he looked down and he saw it. He was like, oh, no, I didn't. And I was like, oh, it's okay. And I was like, let's take the picture. And then afterwards, I don't know what compelled me to do this because I would normally never, but I walked up to him. I was like, hold on to the meet and greet line. I was like, listen, you're very young. You're very impressionable. And I just want you to know that this is not how you treat people. And I know that you idolize this person, but if you ever get upset with somebody, do not put your hands on them. Do not break their property. And I just want you to know as a person that that behavior is not acceptable. Like I didn't do it in front of him. I didn't want to embarrass him. But his mom did see that I was talking to him and she came over and she was just like, what's going on? I was like, you can tell her what you want to tell her. Cause like I wasn't gonna like get him in trouble with his mom. But as they were walking away, his mom was just like, what did she just say to you? What just happened? What did you do?
Oh my God.
But I do think that's so important because like his fans, like Ricegum fans straight up, are very young. Like,
Yeah.
how many like a teenage or older people do you know who are like, rice, bro? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the fact that like these kids have this like role model who it's like, the gag is, I used to think Ricegum was so funny. Like
Right.
before, like his roast on me, that was like weirdly aggressive compared to, and I don't think I'm being biased in saying that because I've talked to other YouTubers who are like, yeah, like Ricegum was always like really lighthearted, but for some reason on yours, like he was really malicious. And I was like, yeah, it felt like that, right? But I thought that what he was doing was like kind of funny, and like the people were taking it in stride, like Baby Ariel and like Ari or whatever. But the influence that's being like shown to these young kids is like, it's funny to make fun of people's appearance. It's funny to bully. And, you know, a 9-year-old cute little kid like this kid who walked up to me, who probably is like the most popular kid in school because he's good looking and he's well dressed and like, you know, his hair is well done. Like, he's going in school and he's making fun of the ugly kids. He's making fun of the poor kids. He's making fun of the people who put themselves out there and maybe they do a talent show. And that breaks my fucking heart. And I don't think that that's like the influence. But what can you do?
No, I know we all kind of know it's inevitable that a lot of that kind of stuff is going to play out on YouTube because, you know, there's
But
a
it
certain...
doesn't have to.
It's true, but there's a certain degree to which, you know, there's like the commentary that goes on YouTube. Like, it's normal to make a video criticizing Donald Trump. It's normal if you made a video criticizing, you know, Phil DeFranco, nobody would say you were bullying. A lot of that Ricegum stuff has not really aged that well, in my opinion, because he came out making all these videos that were actually pretty funny, like making fun of these young ass Musical.ly kids. But then now he's an adult, and it's kind of like, oh wait, you're like an adult and you're making videos about like 10-year-olds. Like, that seems weird.
But I do think that there was also a dramatic tone shift in his content too, because like I feel like I really genuinely stopped watching his content after he attacked me the first time. But just from what I've seen from like the clips and stuff, he started off where it was like mean, but like also funny because like Jacob Sartorius was like a young boy who was like being weirdly sexual, and like his facial expressions and responses were funny.
Right.
But then it moved from like comparing Ari to like the Mona Lisa where she doesn't have eyebrows to like really malicious, ugly content of like trying to bring people down. And I think that was, there's a difference. There's a difference. If there's a funny commentary, which I think he started off in funny commentary, to me, that's different than bullying. To me, the line between bullying and comedy is it funny?
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of what he's doing is funny.
Do you remember the age of Leafy?
I do very much.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of weird because it's like he very much made his name for himself off just kind of bullying people. And sometimes it was people who kind of deserved it. You know, he's making videos about that racist girl on YouTube.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Yeah.
She always, I think about her all the time.
I used to watch Leafy. I was like very fascinated by that whole thing. So I used to watch it.
That
Yeah.
was like when I first really got into like the YouTube community
Commentary
of
and-
watching
yeah.
all that shit. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
his channel got fucking obliterated.
Yeah, it really did. And
Yeah.
I don't, why? I
Well-
mean, besides like it was the whole like Keemstar grade A.
I think the algorithm like really turned against him around the time of the demonetization stuff. Like his views just like went to shit.
But why? Because he still had like long videos that kids were watching.
But I think YouTube was targeting him because of the bullying and stuff, so they stopped
Yeah.
really giving him exposure. And then I think at the same time, probably a lot of people sort of started to just
Does
be like,
YouTube do that though? Because I feel like YouTube still like favors Ricegum.
maybe they don't consider him to be as like deplorable, but I feel like YouTube definitely, like when they could just flick a switch and just decide that a channel like doesn't deserve to get the same type of exposure. I feel like that happens.
No, it does.
Yeah,
for
which-
sure.
which is a
I
shame.
think they're getting much better with it. But at the same time, I mean, freedom of speech,
Yeah.
yes, empowerment, but like with a channel that is just harassing somebody that is against the guidelines. So
Yeah.
if they did choose to shut down Levy's channel because he was constantly just harassing people, then that's well within their right to do it.
I think if Leafy were making videos like that, like he used to right now, that YouTube would be very fast to strike some of those videos and take them down when they just
Yeah.
really feel like pure bullying, you know?
Yeah, I also think that Leafy gave up really quickly after all of the drama, though.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of hurt him too, because when he tried to come back, it was like maybe too late.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's doing.
A lot of people like him, they like, yeah, they sort of like get off the treadmill for a second and like what they really were bringing to the table, they don't have enough leverage to be able to walk away from it for a few months.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like if you went away for a few months, like, yeah, you would experience a dip in views and stuff when you came back, but you would probably get it back pretty quick.
Yeah, it definitely depends on what type of content you're creating.
Yeah.
Like people, when you watch somebody bully somebody for so long, I think that is like fun for a minute. But like when you build a community, like I love my viewers so much because they love me. Like I'm a personality channel.
Your channel's all about you. There's no channel without you, you know.
Yeah, and I don't like, that's like somebody one time asked me on stage, like, what do you have to say about like the Ricegum thing? And I used to tell people like, don't ask me about it, I don't want to talk about it just because I don't want to be in the drama. But I just said like, when you look at my channel, my #1 video is my face and my name, and I did it on myself. Like look at all my top videos, they're me, and like that's why I'm proud of my content.
No, that is important. No, for real, I understand that.
I'm just chilling with Adam, yeah, I'm just chilling with Adam, I'm just chilling with Adam, look, that's the host of Adam, I'm just chilling with Adam.